had an interesting conversation with a patient the other day, and it's something that I think that you will find that you can use in your own health, and it all comes around oxygen. I'm Dr. Jeff Cumro. I'm a developmental functional neurologist, so we work to integrate and balance people's brains so that when they get into any situation, they can take whatever response they need and apply it to the common environment to get to the goal that they want to get to. There's a lot of times that people can't pull the right thing: anxiety, depression, learning disorders, things like that. And we work with those people to help them get the right response and help their brain integrate in the way that it's supposed to in those types of situations. So going back to the story here, I would have bet money that this person had a lot of issues with sleep, and they started wearing a Garmin device. And the Garmin device came back and said that they're actually sleeping very, very well. However, while they were sleeping, their pulse oxygenation was dropping down to about 88%. And a pulse oxygenation device is something you could get without a watch. You can buy, one off Amazon or different places like that. It doesn't have to be anything too terribly expensive. I think you can get them for like $20. They're pretty cheap, but you put it on your finger, you press the button, and it tells you what percentage of oxygen you have in your bloodstream. And that's very, very important information to know, because when you don't have enough oxygen, there are multiple things that happen to your body. You can't make energy as well. Oxygen has to receive that electron from the mitochondria to actually make energy. So if you don't have enough oxygen laying around, your energy is going to go down. Oxygen also helps to keep those nerves away from their firing off. So if you don't have enough oxygen in your system, you start to build up carbon dioxide, you start getting a little bit more acidic. Another name for that is inflammation. And as you get more and more inflammation built up, your nerves get closer and closer to firing, even when you don't want them to. You see this in things like anxiety. That's a great example of this is, those nerves start to fire off even when you don't want to, just because they're closer to firing off. It's easier for them to actually do that when you have lower oxygen. But you would be surprised in the types of people that have problems with their breathing and don't know it. Obviously we've got people, smokers are a little bit more prone to having low oxygenation. COPD, a little more prone to having low oxygenation. A lot of people are surprised they have sleep apnea. They don't know that they have sleep apnea. And what sleep apnea is when you're sleeping and you kind of you stop breathing for a little bit while you're sleeping. And that's where that oxygenation really comes in. And it's difficult for you to get that oxygen. It's difficult for you to stay asleep. So you end up waking up multiple times. You end up with less oxygen and you wake up feeling miserable. So something to test. That's what they're looking for, part of what they're looking for anyway, in sleep studies. The other thing this is the one that I think is really going to surprise most people, is people with lower back pain typically have trouble taking in a breath normally. And the reason for this, they either have splinting of the muscles where they can't get the ribs to expand the way that they should. They have poor coordination of those muscles that they can't expand the ribs the way that they should. Or they're in pain, so they're just kind of they're bearing down and they're not breathing into the stomach the way that they should, because they really don't want to relax and cause themselves pain. So there are a lot more people that experience this than what you think offhand, and that's something that, like I said, it can lead to a lot of problems. And what can you do for this? This is where exercise is really, really good for stress reduction. This is something we commonly see, with stress. Like it drives up the stress level because you get those nerves firing off. You get that anxiety type feeling. That's where a lot of our stress comes from. Is that the only reason for stress? Absolutely not. I hope that I didn't imply that with that, but this is why exercise can be such good, or one of the reasons. There's multiple reasons, but it's one of the reasons exercise can be so good for stress reduction. You oxygenate the system really, really well. You take those deep breaths, you blow off some of that carbon dioxide, get that oxygen into the system, and it just kind of resets the system that way. Meditation or deep breathing, same way. Why did they tell you to take a breath and count to 10? That oxygenation is going to help you to actually calm down and bring the response that you want for that situation. So it gives you time to think about what your response is going to be. It gives you time to oxygenate so that your response is the appropriate one. Something that I think that we all need. So, there is a simple test that you can do at home. Lie on your back, put your hands across your stomach, take a couple deep breaths. And what I want you to look for, do your hands move up first or does your chest move up first? If your chest moves up first, you're breathing into your chest, and this is not going to be as good of a way to oxygenate your system. If you have your hands on your belly, that belly expands first. That's going to be a better way to oxygenate. Now, does that mean that you're actually doing that as you're walking and moving throughout the day? Not necessarily, but it's a good start. If you could do it when you're laying down, you could do it when you're standing up. It takes a little bit of effort to make sure that you're actually doing that. So if you have questions on this, by all means, let me know. If you like this content, subscribe it. It gives me a good idea of what type of information you guys are finding most helpful, what type of stuff I can give you to help you reach your goals. So if you do like this type of content, if this is something you want more of, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It's going to help me give you what you need. Other thing I want you to look at over there is on the little bio thing, there is a free stress assessment essentially. It's a hemispheric checklist. It tells you if your brain is balanced or if your brain is not balanced. It gives you a pretty good idea of how you're going to respond in different situations. Absolutely free, not going to spam you. Just want you to have that information. It's going to help you take yourself to that next level. Again, I'm Dr. Jeff Cumro. I love you guys. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next video.